jumping back into this game, last time we stopped in the middle of this quest where we had the tracker. We were setting up for some important events, and that's in part due to basically a lot is going to happen, so I'm going to try to get some very important abilities. By following the tracker, there's this dog. So, to trigger him up here, you need to get the other dogs out of the village, so this is a very specific, battle. Yeah.
This fight, it's not really that hard, as you
know. However, he has, like...
Well, that's why the best...
His weird fighting spirit, you'll notice, like...
He sort of has an equivalent to godhood that makes him temporarily invincible. Though I do believe...
Taste divine retribution, fiend!
Though I do believe he is actually very vulnerable.
What do you mean I did pathing on time? God damn it.
There's a reason that was a running joke in his playthrough.
I've been watching someone play the game blind on the PlayStation, and their version of the game takes way longer to save than the Switch version.
Are they playing it digitally or physically?
I'll have to ask. You know what? Next time I'll have to ask about that. I don't know, but it's the place.
Actually, using the physical Switch version, so like, if they're playing it physically on the PS4, that would make sense because you know it's having to read a disc, whereas cartridges kinda sorta have that instant loading.
I just find it interesting that this version saves fast. It's the same game, and people made fun of the Switch version for having lagging problems and those common crash errors, but save-wise, the Switch version is the fastest.
And it's to just be the digital Switch version.
I also, in a similar vein of the Switch saving stupid fast, two other physical Switch games that I noticed save really fast. Final Fantasy X/10-2 HD saves really fast, and the Zodiac Age version of 12 on Switch saves really fast. And I noticed the other consoles are a little bit slower. Something about Switch architecture makes...
I think it's because it's on a cartridge. Remember, to technically, even now with, you know, our, like, 50 gigabyte Blu-ray disc, a laser still has to run across the disc and read a cartridge is technically instant.
I just find it interesting.
Which is really fascinating that, like, I'm kind of, you know, surprised we didn't try to, like, stick with cartridges because of how they are theoretically a better format. But I guess it was because disc had more storage space.
It's just a architecture point that the Switch, I noticed, saves really fast.
I guess I think it's because it's on a cartridge.
And in case anyone was going to comment that the Final Fantasy was a digital download for 10.2, I have a Southeast Asia copy of 10.2.
You have a physical copy of that.
Whoops. I fell down. Damn it. I have to reiterate something about the physical copy of the 10/10.2. It's a Southeast Asian import that was a bigger cartridge where both games are on a single cartridge. So, the copy we have is actually no downloads needed. The Japanese copies were the same, bigger cartridge. It was just like an American and European thing.
I believe Europe didn't even get a physical copy. I think the entire game in general was a download for Europe. But that was specifically Europe and the Xbox One version, I think.
So, our copy of the Final Fantasy is an import. I want to reiterate that in case people question how the fuck I was playing a physical copy on Switch. Oh, yeah, now I can show this. Aha, yeah. Oh, sweet baby. Jesus, I love this reflector. Taste my divine intervention.
What was the what's your sub weapon? Is it another?
The other reflector.
Okay, yeah, it was the other reflector, so you can counter Fu.
Yeah. So, back to the... Unfortunately, because of the way this game works, we're basically in a dead game for just a microsecond, where events are kind of...
Like, because we weren't reading the story, if I remember correctly, the story was basically like, yeah, there were like 3 other dogs, and they kind of left.
But having Night show up when it did is really good. Because that's just... So... What you have to do is drag her, not him, the cutters are actually demons!
They were demons the whole time.
I forget what the floral finisher for those are.
It is something we do not have.
Is it?
I am pretty sure.
Hold on.
I could be getting it mixed up.
I have a cheat sheet. Let me quickly refer to that. Small cut to make sure it's what I think it is.
To Google.
Cutting back in, it's exactly what I thought it was.
No, we don't have it.
No, we do not.
So ignore it for now.
Shatter your defenses. Bye, bitch.
Another way to fight...
Yeah.
Another good way to fight them is, I believe, when they attack, they're very susceptible to the parry.
Or, if you're playing this game how I'm playing this game, DPS raise. Chuck.
You see, though, like, Mr. and Mrs. Cutterworth reference it to an old, like, Japanese folktale, basically a man, he, like, I believe he saved or rescued a sparrow. His wife found the sparrows chirping constantly annoying. So she cut out its a tongue that caused the sparrow to flee. The man looked for it to apologize. He found the sparrow's family, and basically it was like they, you know, for saving... Basically, for saving the girl.
For helping! They weren't mad at him,
yeah, and they,
since he wasn't a douchebag.
And they basically offered him, like, one of 2 chests he could take home. He took home the lighter one because it would be easier to carry a bag, and it was basically full of demons, because the moral of the story is don't be a greedy douche. Because, like, when he took it home, his wife opened the chest thinking it had, like, gold or something. Come in it.
So, you have to save Tune.
Yes.
Because we need into the Sparrow Inn, and if you remember, the Sparrow Inn is over here.
And also because we just, like, you know, because we just saved it without, like, doing anything, unless this is a character later. Oh, and I can't remember, but it's the... Actually, the thing I'm thinking of, I think it's someone later on.
this is where some other shit's important. Anyway, if you wanted to wait on that stray bead I got earlier, you can get it when you save her. But I grabbed it earlier while it was on my mind to also just show off the area. I love him. Chirp.
The boss is delighted.
Delighted.
You sure about that? Yeah, like, basically everything in the game has some form of basis in, like, Japanese mythology.
So,
you know,
yeah.
brought up before. Which again goes back to, as I said, I want to see what the hell with the westernized, like, Okami script.
No! We already dug that up. But we have to come here for plot, so it's not like this is an optional area. That was it. Feed the rats. There should be...
I believe you're thinking of the later area. Yeah, it's the later area that has it behind here.
I'm pretty sure you can get back here.
No, that's the later inn.
One moment. Sorted that mess out. This game reuses this layout later as a mix-up, so the reason I'm a little bit confused, there's a building later that they just reuse this rough design.
Hey, if you have if you have geometry, you will make good use out of it. Someone took time making those assets.
Now I'm looking for the other bead.
I think it's on the other side of the inn.
And then I need to go do the plot, and then I can go get the other bead. I'll know when I see it. There it is. I'm just gonna swipe his food.
Yeah, it's just one of those things you don't think about a lot in game design. Is like, there was someone on the team who their job was give descriptions to all the food.
And then all of these items can be claimed.
Yes.
And if you're really funny about it, without... you can swipe it in a single go and try to grab them without full approach. Or you can save a minute, which is funny. I also just like having the multi-camera because it just looks hilarious. Look at all this crap! It's great!
Lots of treasure.
And they cower in fear. I think, now that we're in here and I claim the treasure, I don't think I have to talk to them. I'm gonna try going to the plot. If they stop me, I'll go back, but I'm pretty sure I can go to the, like, yeah, side room over here. Yeah. And by not getting close enough and not talking, I skipped out on... They basically tell you that, like, take the treasures and stuff. So, and now we get introduced to a minigame I absolutely hate. Also, he is burning himself with the fire.
That's kind of fucked up.
There he is.
Also, you know, this is something rather interesting. I know the reason for it, because it's something the game explains and stuff later, but with him being able to come in here, that basically means, like, he can see what Amaterasu fully looks like. Because he's in an area only divine beings can go.
Not... Well, you're fudging it a little bit. There's other people in here. It's not divine beings only. It is pure people. Non-corruptive souls. The people who get lost in the inn are really confused to how they got here, and they think it's a dream. If you're pure of heart and not tainted by evil, you can pass through. People connected to the gods or those with some sort of divine calling can get in here.
And there's a sort of a specific explanation for Mr. Bamboo later, but...
And, cause like, you never stop to think about it, but Isun is allowed in here.
Oh yeah, they address it later.
No, but... Well, yes. You're missing my point.
Yes.
It's a subtle thing.
Because, like, the funny thing is the, you know, pure of heart or, like, connected to the gods. Those two things aren't, like, 100% established unless you go out of your way for a bit of optional dialogue as a side quest. And that one side quest gets a stray bead, so we will be doing it, right?
What side quest you?
The one related to the two Shrine Maidens.
Stray beach, yes.
Okay.
Shrine Maiden, yes. Oh, we'll deal with him later. Actually, that reminds me, I never started that.
Oh, we need to go do that after this.
That's gonna take some...
That's
Actually, wait! Wait!
We have to go back there anyway.
No, but the...
This was all part of our big brain plan, yeah.
Fuck this minigame.
Yes, fuck this minigame.
To defend me on not starting the one quest, I couldn't have finished it.
Yes. That's kind of a sort of game-spanning quest. It spans basically the first half of the game. Actually, it spans almost the entire game because around the end, I believe you need one of the optional powers.
You need an optional ability.
Okay,
yes.
now fuck this minigame. Okay, to, like, explain how the minigame works. Basically, essentially what you're doing is you're trying to get Mr. Bamboo down to the bottom of this area to... You might have to try and... basically, to get, like, the one hot spring working again, you have to get Mr. Bamboo down to a thing of water. As you can see, the way you're doing that is digging through a bunch of these blocks. You can either manually dig through things, power slash... Yeah, also he's walking the other way. You can manually dig through things, power slash them,
The cracked
or use cherry bomb.
The cracked ones are only possible to be bombed.
And the rest are instantly destroyed by a cherry bomb, or every other method takes time. My two biggest problems with this minigame are, one, Mr. Bamboo's AI is kind of terrible at points.
God damn it.
Like there.
No, we're kind of at a dead game scenario of I have to kind of let him crash because I don't have enough, like, freaking ink or time.
Because that's my big problem with this minigame, is basically...
Hold on. You can slash him!
Yes. You can slash him to make him basically turn around, and if you circle
him,
it makes him walk faster in the direction he's in, but, like, look at that, you basically, around the end, only had, like, 3 ink pots, so...
And when they run to the spot, oh, and don't think, oh, I can just go dig where the character goes. No.
You need him to find it.
Regardless of if you know it's that square, because it's always the same.
I thought it was a random.
No, it's not. It's not random. They just don't let you... Now, you might say, oh, but you won that minigame rather easily. One, I preemptively had tons of ink. Try doing that minimalist.
That's a big problem, is that there's a later one where, due to how long it is, you basically need a few ink upgrades, and at the point of the story that one opens, you basically cannot do it if you decide to do it when it's first available, and I fucking hate when games do that.
Caveat, because this is a thing you can ask for that's a little bit tricky, but is a good note. Run out of ink. When you run out, by default, you will fill 3 pots.
Yeah.
So you can net gain lose all your ink.
And also another thing, like, don't think that you can use, like, an infinity stone or whatever in those, because I'm pretty sure if you activate one and then start the minigame, it turns off.
I think there's a glitch to get that to work, though.
It might not work in the HD version.
I think you can activate one in a certain interval before playing and trigger unlimited ink in those. Now, that could just be me sprouting nonsense, but I try to play...
Or, again, it could have been only in, like, the PS2 or, like, Wii version or something that might not work in the...
Light up the sky! Aha, yeah.
It's a snick in a jar.
So, anyway... And they also can't get out of it.
Makes you feel kind of bad.
Cherry Bomb Dude got blown up by their kids.
Hey, at least he can move.
They can move, the jar rolls. So, like, the best advice I have for the digging minigame, try to conserve ink, but if you need to sacrifice all your ink for a net gain of 3...
Well, and also, I'll admit, the first one isn't that
They get
bad.
worse.
The first one isn't that bad because we didn't have the power that makes the other ones terrible, which is this. This power is Water Geyser. Basically, if there's a body of water, you draw a line straight up and it makes a geyser. Because those minigames are in a 2D perspective, this power does not fucking work properly.
I have a trick to help with that, but I'll explain it when we... So first, water in general. Water touches water, you move water.
Yeah, you can pull water. And then when you have then they teach you the straight up. If you, from the bubbling spot, draw a line. That happens.
Foosh. Aha, yeah. The basic ability of water, you can move water and you can cause little sprout bubbles. It's time for the question of the day, my overall thoughts on the topic. So, anyway, how many of you that played Okami for the first time struggled with that one digging minigame? Because that one digging minigame is really obnoxious on a first-time playthrough, because a lot of people might not have enough ink to do that. The other ones later on get worse, but the first digging minigame is pretty obnoxious if you're not prepared, because the AI of your partner is a bit of an idiot. The odd 2D perspective often messes up the ink abilities, and overall I find the minigame to be somewhat unpleasant, but we had so much extra ink, I was able to pretty easily win, but this is the first one. The harder ones are later, and a couple of optional ones are also pretty obnoxious, but at least you can restart these. Overall, this minigame isn't the worst thing ever, but I do understand why people hate it. Anyway, you can leave your thoughts, opinions, and answers in the comments, or you can leave them on social media. All of my social media links, as well as my Discord link, are in the video description. Now, as always, I need to be a shill for a minute. If you subscribe to the channel, and if you follow me on social media, that really helps our communities grow. But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I hope I will see you all next time. So as always, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night, everybody. See you later.